the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Awesome show lined up today. I think it's Paulie's favorite guest in the history of this show, professional gambler Richard Munchkin, coming up in 30 minutes. The stories that this guy has, they are absolutely A+.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll get his take on the big, beautiful bill as well. Justin Bales on the Summer League, which really gets underway tonight out here in Las Vegas. Mitch and Paulie's Pizzeria coming up at 5:45 Pacific time. Jensen Lewis on the program. Real or Fugazi as well. Paulie, how the hell are you?
Good. Feeling good. Looking forward to Munchkin in half an hour. Can't wait. Interesting fellow. And so good, took a storytelling class as well. So if you ask him something, he'll say, do you want the 3-minute, the 5-minute, or the 10-minute?
Well, I can't wait to get the full story of the roulette player who was cheating and had a device strapped to his back, and eventually, like, steam or smoke started to come out of the shirt.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that dude needed to take off faster than Usain Bolt.
Yes.
And get the hell out of there immediately.
Abort.
Yeah.
Abort.
Bad plan.
That's a problem.
It's not working.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right, so
several stories like that.
Busy Thursday, by the way, morning, afternoon, depending on where you're at. Your gal, Sabalenka, goes down, and she was on the ropes the entire match today. And that's who she is and what she does. When it's not going well, the frustration, you can see it kind of like oozing out of the television when you're watching it live. And she goes down in 3 sets. And there you go. No number one on the women's side.
Yeah.
Winning it again this year.
Again, she blows the first set. She's in her own head. The unforced errors. I know she's a hell of a player, but she keeps making these deep runs. And if she would have won today, she would have been the first player since Serena to make 4 Grand Slam finals in a row. But a lot of times, the biggest opponent is yourself. And that's certainly the case with Sabalenka. She's so talented, so good, so much strength in the serve and the natural ability that she has and the gift. But it's it's a great story that this. I mean, don't judge a book by its cover. You look at this Amanda gal, you say that she's a pro tennis player? What? She has struggled with mental health issues. She was 35-1 at some spots before the tournament, which Nigel gave out. Not here, but at other place. But this is just, again, you see this where 100-1, 80-1, 100-1. Mm-hmm. Eagle won no problem. She moves on to the championship, which I like her Saturday. But this gal was 35-1.
She does not thrive at all whatsoever on this surface. Well,
I just think the to win 6-0 in the second set as well. But the play here would be off the big upset and then the turnaround. And can you channel those emotions and then come back and say, okay, well, I got to take care of business, and now I have to regroup, focus, and let that one go, and now come out and play for a championship.
Yeah, she was awesome today, but so was Anisimova, American, and she was ranked 186th in the world last year. That's an impressive, quick turnaround.
Yep. I don't know if people saw it. I don't know if you saw it. There was a great special in between matches they did on ESPN about how many tennis players suffer from mental health issues. Number 1 was abuse from bettors. And I hope you die, get cancer, you cost me a parlay, whatever. Also, it's because of the travel, the rigorous schedule, and their ranking system, which I don't know a lot about, but how difficult it is with your ranking system. Like, if you take some time off, I'm not doing well, I have to regroup, I plummet in the rankings.
I know.
And just how competitive that is. It was well done on ESPN, but that's...
And for the most part, when you're traveling, you're going to be on your own or only with a very small group.
Well said.
Today, she made it a great point after the match when she was on the mic. She pointed out her entire family being there and how much that meant to her. She was looking for her best friend in the crowd. She was a couple of rows back of the family. But that's not... This is Wimbledon, so this is a different story, obviously. It's kind of like a comedian when you go on the road. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be there with other comedians, but when you're traveling the entire circuit and going to small city after small city, and then, you're working 40 weekends out of the year, and you might bomb at some spots, and like, what kind of toll does that take on somebody who's up there on the stage, and your livelihood, relies on other people laughing at you. And if you go out there and it's not good one night, how do you sleep? You can't. And it's kind of, I think, relatable to tennis. And you had that story about Zverev as well. when he lost, and basically he's telling people that I have absolutely zero joy in my life.
Yep. Top 5 player.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. So I think she should be Serena, Graf, Celis, and dominate. And that's Sabalenka. And maybe that'll happen. But certainly, she's made 7 of the last 10, whatever it has been, going back, or losing 7 of the last 10 in the finals. But she has all the talent in the world, so we'll see. It's not like, again, she didn't embarrass herself. She lost in the semis. It wasn't like she was a $9 favorite. But it's a tough racket. But to tie everything in here, sometimes the biggest opponent is yourself.
Sure. We have Summer League action going on right now out here in Las Vegas. Day 1 of this event, it goes on over 10 days. And the Timberwolves are playing the Pelicans. The Minnesota Timberwolves got bumped up to, a 7.5 point favorite in this game today, which is a big point spread for Summer League games, let's be honest here. Now, their roster overall is really, really good, and their main guys are, on the court today, Dillingham and Shannon and among some others. They are down right now by 8 points to New Orleans.
I want to follow this. I want to track this. Because for years,
the steam,
we had a guy who would reach out and say, this guy's out, and then you'd have to move, and it would never get there, even though guys were sitting and you had a great number, and it would never win. I want to follow the steam here and follow the money and track how these moves do. I don't think it's going to go very well, but we've seen...
probably not.
We've seen incredible movement already. So,
like every game's been impacted almost today.
Yeah, as Jimmy Vaccaro always says, and others always respect the odds maker, but this is, you got a 5-point move in the Brooklyn game. You got the 2.5, 3-point move here in the Minnesota game. There's movement in a lot of games as well. I want to track and see how these do.
Here's a tweet for you. I saw that our very own Jonathan Von Tobel quote tweeted this yesterday, and then Bill Lady put it in the VSiN Daily earlier today. And it's from Keith Smith, who covers the NBA. He's been on this show. He's been on this network, I'm going to say several times. He tweeted out that I've gotten 4 different emails with lines and odds on Summer League games and champions. If you are gambling on Summer League, you have a problem and need to seek help. Paul, we've been doing this for a long, long time, and it pops up every single year around NFL preseason. Guys like Trey Wingo famously tweeted that out, 5 or 6 years ago, and then started working for sports books.
Yeah, Caesars.
Funny how that happened.
I know.
Sure. Yeah. But that was a clueless tweet from Trey Wingo many, many years ago. Has absolutely no idea that betting the NFL preseason is actually one of the best times of the year to make a lot of money. I don't dive into the Summer League like every single day of every single year. I'll bet it occasionally. But what are your thoughts on this? If you're gambling on the Summer League, you have a problem and need to seek help.
That's the same thing as Wingo. I also would say stay in your lane. And also don't bite the hand that feeds you. You cover the NBA. You don't think there's a tie-in with gambling and the popularity? It's like the same thing with the NFL. The NFL's king. The NFL's God. But if you couldn't bet on the NFL, where would it be?
It'd be the NBA.
Yeah, so it started with fantasy football, right? And then it's just how everyone bets on it as well. So it makes games more interesting. It's the only thing going on. A lot of people think baseball's boring. I don't blame them. But this is, you also have the Flagg story and what's going on here as well. But the other thing would be with Keith and also even worldwide, Rob Perez chiming in about this long list of this and bookmakers here. And it's just, I didn't ask for your opinion.
Now, how about this? A lot of people, I know Kenny White, who's been doing this for a long, long time. I haven't talked to Kenny about the Summer League in a couple of years, but he used to say that betting totals in the Summer League used to be the absolute nuts. You can find edges on this. And by the way, and Von Tobel's been awesome at sending out and keeping track of all the rosters. If you study all the stuff and the players who are going to be in the league, you might think that you have an edge and that some of these lines and some of the future numbers might be a little bit off because your opinion on certain players might be a little bit higher than what other books have on those players or on those certain lineups. So you can find something there possibly. And to your point, Paul, we'll see how this game plays out today. We're live on the air. It's going to be over with probably in the next hour and a half. I want to say that was a good 4 or 5 year stretch. Get on this game now before it moves too much. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I missed it. It's already moved 2 points. And it would be the other team would cover at such an alarming rate that I just tapped out of betting it. There was no point. The other side would come in so often. I should have just been betting the other side.
Yeah. And that's I love preseason football, and that's for years Chuck Edel's been on, and Chuck studies all these press conferences.
Sure.
Because he can gather
key quotes and takeaways.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's one of the few times that a coach is going to tell you the game plan, how long someone's going to play, and how long someone's going to what they're going to do with the rotation as well. So I just think has Keith had a beer at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday at any point of his life? Is that a problem? Let people live their lives. And it's a professional basketball game.
Right. It's because he doesn't gamble.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they always come out when it's preseason football.
Oh, when it's a weird sport or not like a regular season, of the NFL or whatever sport it might be. It's like, oh my God, people were betting on Russian ping pong back during the pandemic.
Yeah. We are 3 weeks away from a game. Let's do it. Hall of Fame game, July 31st. Lions, Chargers, get our NFL guide over 90 pages, team previews, division previews, season win total breakdowns, best bets, player props, betting projections, MVP, Coach of the Year. It's great stuff. Lock it in. The football special at VSiN is $175 through the Super Bowl. Every betting guide, every best bet, every host, every guest. The great email every morning from Bill 80, all the data and tools. This expires when a Hall of Fame game kicks off, so don't wait. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get it now. Get your copy of the guide and get your football special for $175. VSiN.com/subscribe.
Cooper Flagg is playing tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers here in Las Vegas at the NBA Summer League. We talked about it yesterday. Pretty expensive ticket. Mm-hmm. Some of the best in the building going for like $2,500.
Yeah, see if Bronny can do something.
It's a lot of money. I wonder how long Cooper Flagg's going to play in the game tonight.
Good question.
They don't have a very good roster.
Good
Some of these Lakers players have been like really, really good in these early preseason games or Summer League games, like in different cities across the country, Utah, San Francisco as well. Win-lose up next. And I will tell you, with Cooper Flagg's player prop tonight, how previous number one picks have performed in their first game in the Summer League. It's kind of surprising. That's next.
What's the guarantee? Eric?
Mike, time to make history. Players in Circa Million make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries choose one team each week with no point spread. The last one standing wins it all.
We have $21 million on the line. Are you in? Visit circasports.com for details.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next A Numbers Game, it is Friday. Fezzik and Falika. Steve Fezzik, everything on his mind from a sports betting perspective. We will do that in hour number 1 this time around. And then Chris Falika with all of his bets across the sports betting landscape. 4 sports, 5 sports, I don't know. We'll find out together. And let's do a little MLB draft with Luke Swain, Vegas refund. How about that? Numbers Game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Sabalenka goes down. Anna Samova, the American, moves on to the final Saturday morning. She was plus 190, and then 30, 35 to 1 in that range to win the tournament. She takes on Iga, and I love Nigel, but this is where I disagree with Nigel because he gave it out on the McAfee show. Hedging's for gardeners. I think you got to lock in a profit if you took his advice. So maybe get involved in play as well. Good luck to everyone if you're involved and you have it. Nats plus 140. Guardians plus 140. That's baseball, Susan. You sweep the Astros. They've lost 10 in a row.
Naturally.
Can you believe it? Unbelievable.
In a long season, the older I get, the more stuff is just so random, I guess,
Most runs scored, Phillies 20 to 1. Highest scoring game, Angels Rangers 12 to 1. That had everything. That game was madness.
Yeah, fishy number.
That's right. Yankees, after 16 straight unders, have played 10 straight overs now.
Again, long season, right? So random.
I know.
My God.
That kid looked pretty good, though. Schlittler? Yeah.
There's an extra L in there, I think.
Thanks, buddy. He's got gas. I mean, he can.
Oh, he throws 100.
He can bring it. He can bring it. So that's he looked good as well. 4-way tie first round. If it's not Scottish, it's crap. The Scottish Open, Knapp 50 to 1. So 4-way tie depends on how your books graded out. I know Jeff Seeley gave out Knapp as well. So 4-way tie early on at the Scottish Open. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie de Vegas on Instagram. I had this card. It was not mint, but the signed Michael Jordan Fleer sold for $2.5 million, setting a record for the card in any grade. It's the third highest price ever paid for a Jordan card. Apparently there was some secret signing and what he did, but
and this one graded out like perfect mint condition.
Look at that. $2.5 million.
Hold on. So did you open up a pack?
My mom.
And then have it, or what happened?
In the Midwest, there were, I don't know if they're still there. They're called Colburn's. They're grocery stores. And she went to get groceries and came back with like 12 packs one day.
Well, that's a nice mom.
Something like that. She was the best. So she came back, and I got the entire set of the 1986 Fleer with the stickers and the set. There weren't that many cards in the set, but I got the whole set based on what she brought back from the store that day. And I had the Jordan. But the biggest part of the name of the game and to win the whole battle here is that you got to store the thing and keep it mint when it arrives at this. That's the toughest battle right there. The toughest thing is I got a card from 1986. I got to take care of it.
It's 40 years old. I mean,
the edges and everything. Yeah.
So, and you didn't. You played like. Put them in your spokes. Did whatever dumb kids did,
I took care of it, but when you move and stuff, the corner was nicked. That's all.
Okay.
The corner got nicked a little bit, but it also helps to have it signed as well. But it's certainly worth a ton of money, just a regular card as well, and what that set is worth. So, but then it's hold my beer or hold my bag. Today, the original Birkin bag, made for Jane Birkin, sold for $10 million. Most expensive handbag ever sold, not close. Was made in 1985.
That's pronounced Hermes, right?
I believe so.
Okay. I think I've said this before. There is a Hermes store at the Bellagio.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure some people in our listening/viewing audience have been there before. Some of the purses, Paulie, you need just take a gallon there one time. I dare you. And just take a look at the price tags on these purses.
I did a rodeo drive.
Yeah.
I did that. Just to, the look and peek, and then I said, "There's a mall, Beverly Hills. There's a mall. Maybe I'll go down there." And that's.
I walked into.
I got out of there for $1,500. I felt great.
My buddy and I were staying in Beverly Hills one weekend many years ago. We're like, let's go to Rodeo Drive. We've never been there. No problem. We're early 20s.
Yeah.
We walked into a armed guarded jewelry store, and I had a Jamba Juice in my 20s. Do you think they were taking me seriously?
Right.
Like, what's this jackass going to do? Why? Who let him in?
I don't get it. I don't. It's like Costanza. I don't get art. Someone has to explain it to me, and then someone has to explain the explanation. But you $10 million, and the prices, and the gals love them. I mean, it's just all these bags.
Again, this is like a souvenir piece.
This I don't get too either. Right? Yeah. One thing, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 purse, but then it's like $10 million for the Birkin bag. Incredible. Nuts. How about this? The race is on with the Bulldog and the owner. Jump in the pool. Who's going to win first? Here we go. Get in there, big fella. I think the guy got in there. I think the dog got in there. If you look, is it a dead heat? Here he comes in, jumping in with a little vest on, little toy.
It's a boy, oh boy.
That's great. The jumping in the pool race.
That's a photo finish right there.
That is awesome. And the dog is so smart as well. That was excellent. Bad beats. Yesterday we were on the air. The Dodgers blew it in the ninth. They've lost 6 in a row. And Sky wings over. You needed, depends when you bet it.
Oh.
You needed 3 or 4 points in the last 3 minutes.
Boy.
There wasn't a point the rest of the game. 0 points the last 252. It's a high-scoring game. I mean, they play a high-scoring game. They played 3 times this year high-scoring. Nothing. Reese got there with the points, but not the rebounds.
That's a fun one to lose.
Before the line moves, the sharp place is already there. They don't follow the market. They help shape it. You knock out muscle billion-dollar books or full-time sharps all by yourself. With the sharp plays, you don't have to. Backed by advanced AI, connected to trusted insider sources. Sharp Plays delivers the kind of edge serious bettors count on every day. Free betting reports, real-time alerts, market moving insights, straight to your inbox or X feed. Not a summer side hustle. He's been doing it since 2011. Documented results, public logs, transparent results. Jeff and the guys at Sharp Plays, trusted by pros, watched by the books. Visit sharpplays.com. Stay ahead of the line, sharpplays.com.
Underdog NBA, great follow on X. They tweeted this out earlier today. Cooper Flagg tonight. They have a prop up of 18.5 points for him against the Lakers, making a Summer League debut.
Double, too. Yep.
Okay, and
I don't know.
I don't see him up and available at like a lot of books. Maybe that'll come in the next hour or two. But they did a tweet. They went back and looked over the last 10 years, number 1 picks to make their Summer League debut. Not a single player has gone over 18.5 points. Ricochet last year, the closest, he had 18.
Okay.
Did you take a guess how many Wemby had in his debut?
Oh. I remember I was stunned watching the game because he went behind his legs. He's running point, dished it.
This is good.
He struggled shooting. 11.
He had 9.
Okay.
He had 9. I remember when Victor Wembanyama, and we might get this tonight too, when he made his debut out here, and it was not going well for him. It was a struggle, right? The people who I follow and the stuff that got like retweeted into my timeline who panicked and said, oh my God, the Spurs made a mistake. It's like you don't have to tweet about everything that goes on every second in the world. Just put the phone down. Let it breathe for a second or so. Nope, going to be a huge bust.
All-time freezing take. I mean, in that game, remember, he's like 7'4", 7'5". He's got the ball at the top of the key. He's going behind his legs. He penetrates. He dishes it, goes to the basket and dishes it to the guy off and lays it in.
Yeah.
And it's like every guy you've seen that size can barely walk, move, do anything. And this guy's like John Stockton out there.
I know. The guys like that can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah.
He's out there looking like an all-star point guard. So Wemby had 9. Paolo Banchero got close. He had 17. Cunningham had 12. Zion had 11. Ayton had 10, just to go down the list here. Fultz had 17. Some false promise there after that one. Ben Simmons with 10 and Cat had 12, so nobody had it. I'll see what, hopefully again, all these national books will post up a number on Flagg. I'd like to take a little under 18.5. Who knows how long he's going to play.
Yeah, I like the Lakers in the game, and I think it's a big summer league for Connect. Laker fans are all over him, as he's been a disappointment. The Stewart has played well in a couple games. He could score for him, and then you have the Bronny James angle as well. So, but from a future standpoint, I think it's difficult here.
I'll give you a couple of other guys who have looked good for the Lakers. This was in the California Classic. This Darius Baisley looked really good, and so did Cole Swider. He had tons of moments, and I went back, tracking these games like online and going back and looking at box scores. You're like, wow, they're really filling up the box score. And I was watching some stuff on YouTube today, specifically of those two players. And not only did they just fill it up, they look pretty damn good doing so. But what does that mean overall for tonight? I do agree with you that I like the Lakers overall because, there is a reason why books posted Cooper Flagg at 30-1 to win the Summer League MVP. What's he going to do? Play tonight, and that's going to be pretty much it? I made a couple of bets. I did bet the Grizzlies at 14-1 to win it. I know that they were better than that when it opened up. And I took some of the Hawks. I like their roster. And I took 35-1 for a small ball. They wouldn't let me get down much on it. So it was a small bet on the Hornets. Because they have, now, I don't know, they could get routed or it could go the other way, I think, because they have so much young talent, guys who are like really, really good in college. And if it hits, maybe they're good enough to make a little bit of a run here. So,
have the Sixers said how much Edgecombe's going to go?
I don't think it's going to be much.
Yeah,
he was awesome. With a thumb problem.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd play him. Would you? I heard Von Tobel today on Money Moves said that he would not play him, and I don't disagree with that.
Okay. They're the late game tonight.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, professional gambler Richard Munchkin on the show coming up next. The biggest issue in sports betting and gambling overall continues to be how bettors will get taxed under the new Big Beautiful Bill. He might be one of the best guests possible to discuss this issue. We'll ask him about it next here on VSiN.
Season the sharp way with a VSiN Pro subscription. Right now, grab our football special for just $175. An early bird deal that gives you full VSiN access through the Super Bowl. That includes our NFL betting guide, loaded with team previews, power ratings, and season-long best bets. Plus, pro picks sent to your inbox daily, betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, live shows on the VSiN Watch app, and so much more. Don't wait. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, this is going to be great. We love our next guest. Joined us in studio, kind enough to come on downtown Las Vegas here on a Thursday. Richard Munchkin on the program. His podcast with Bob Dancer is called Gambling with an Edge. He's been doing this for decades as a professional gambler. You can follow him on X. He's at RWM21. Richard, good afternoon. Thanks for coming in today. How are you?
Good. Yeah, happy to be here again. Yep. So
great to have you in. We have a lot to get to in like the next 45 minutes or so. Okay. I'm going to save, I can't wait to hear this story overall. I'm going to save the guy cheating at roulette story with a device on his back, and it starts to steam or smoke, and he realizes, okay, I got to get out of here. We'll do that in about a half an hour, if that's okay.
Sure.
Let's start here. The biggest story going on right now, it's been like this for a good week now, is the big, beautiful bill. Gamblers like yourself, sports bettors as well who listen to the show, gamblers in general, you tweeted out that you're going to bring on your resident tax expert, Russell Fox, who I think handles a lot of pro bettors' accounts or taxes at the end of the year, every single year. You're going to have a podcast with him that's probably going to come out next Tuesday. Okay, correct. Where are you at right now with this, where you can, you got to claim 100% of your wins, but you can only deduct 90% of your losses?
Well, if the bill stays the way it is, it's devastating not just for professionals, but for the recreational gambler, too. I mean, it's even worse for the recreational gambler, or a lot of them. I mean, depending exactly on your situation. But, I got contacted by a friend who's an attorney that handles a lot of gambling cases. And he said that he doesn't think there's any way that this could, it cannot be constitutional because they're taxing you on money that you did not earn. So, I'm on the camp. There are, some people who are, the sky is falling and, it's over for us as professionals. And I'm on the other side of the fence. I think that it'll definitely get overturned. So, well, I can give you this example. I listened to a podcast on the way in today with Jeff Ma, Rufus Peabody, and Captain Jack. Rufus, of course, one of the best sports bettors of all time. I mean, he's amazing. Captain Jack is also exceedingly good at this. They had two different sides of the story. Rufus basically said he's done. If this goes into effect, he will take a year off, a year sabbatical, and then re-examine what he wants to do. Captain Jack said he thinks he was much more positive with the silver lining. He said, I'm going to say that there's a 90% chance that this thing gets overturned. And you are in that camp. Yeah, I am in that camp. And now you brought up a good point before we went on the air, which is if it gets overturned, will that include 2026? Because if you go through the year gambling, assuming that it will, and it's not retroactive for the year, you could be in a very bad spot. So, I think you have to pay close attention to what is actually in the amendment, and make a decision from there. But I think, first of all, almost nobody that is not a professional files their gambling wins and losses the way they're supposed to. I think most recreational gamblers just go, I lose more than I win, so I'm just not going to bother. You know what I mean? If they have W2Gs, like they play slots and video poker and things, well, then they probably just write off as much as whatever the W2Gs say. So, for the bill to stand, you're going to turn a lot of people into criminals that really are losing money anyway. So, yeah, I really think it'll get overturned. And one of the reasons is you're starting to see this on mainstream media now.
Right.
I mean, they're talking about this on CNBC and, it's in the Washington Post. And, I mean, it's out there in the mainstream. And, the casinos don't like it either.
They can't. Derek Stevens hates it.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah, it's craziness.
Sure. So one more thing on this to follow up. Again, you've been doing this for several decades, and you have a huge network of people like in your circle. Do they have the same mindset as you, or are some people panicking and saying, I'm going to be done?
Well, Yes, both. I'm hearing both. But a lot of them now, because we're starting to see in the media that they're talking about, there's already an amendment proposed by a Nevada representative. And, so now I'm hearing a lot more, well, I'm going to wait and see. So, and a lot of people are just going to, they're just going to cheat on their taxes. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
Sure.
I mean, and this idea that it's going to drive the business offshore, well, if you're going to cheat on your taxes, you can do it if you're betting at a legal book as well. I mean, Circa doesn't send your information off to the IRS of your account. So that's where I think we stand.
Why did you get out of this? Traveling all over, beating the games, you were so good, long career, doing this for so long. Was it the lifestyle, mentally taxing? I think you had a line, I was in Iowa in December, it's 20 below. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah. And I was alone too, and I was losing.
Okay.
And so you spend all day grinding. Yeah. And and you lose, and then you go back to some hotel, and it's freezing cold outside, and the food in, some of these towns in Iowa is not great. And, I just thought, as I've said many times, I've retired, 6 or 8 times now. But that was the last time that I went on a trip alone. I mean, I definitely would not go play alone anymore just because it's no fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've always been a team player. I like, my teammates around me, and it's just a lot more fun that way to me.
What's the health? Are you okay? Or how about people around you? I would think health's a big thing too. You're sitting in a casino all day.
Yeah. You gotta have some kind of a health, exercise regimen, and and I think about when I was young, and we would go on these trips all over Europe, and we didn't go see anything. We saw the inside of the casino and the inside of the hotel, and that was it. And the first trip we rented a car, so I mean, I got to see some of the countries as we were driving through it to the next casino, but. As I got older, I would take some time away just to see the places where I was,
Mm-hmm. So the fruits of your labor at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to kind of enjoy it a little bit outside, yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, my longtime partner, Daryl, was talking about, he was listening to a podcast of another blackjack player. And the guy on the podcast said, exactly what I was saying, that, he had put in this long session. He went back to his hotel room, and he just felt so lonely, so alone and lonely. And Daryl told me he had to pull the car over to the side of the road, and he started weeping because it hit him so strongly. And I think anybody who does this for a living gets that.
Okay.
Very
good. Interesting.
Yeah.
You said the 2 most important things. Number 1, name and reputation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is everything in this business. I mean, that's kind of one thing. It's your name and reputation, and your network is the other thing. But that's everything. I mean, I've had money stolen many times. Anybody in this business has. Right. And if you are going to steal, especially from your partners, the word just goes out right away. I mean, you're just not going to get away with it for long. And I'll tell you a story about one of my teammates. When we were working with somebody new, we were always sharing hotel rooms, right? So he would hand the guy, he would be the roommate of the new guy, and he would hand the guy, he would just pull money out of all his pockets, throw a big pile on the bed, right? And there'd be hundreds, and there'd be some odd change in there or whatever. He'd pull it all out, and he'd say, Munchkin's going to come pick up that money, just give it to him, I'm going to jump at the shower, right? And he would go jump in the shower, and I would come pick up the money, right? Now, it looks like a big mess, right? He's pulled it out of all these different pockets. Well, he had written down it was $27,634.
Yeah.
And then I would go count the money, and, people don't steal 10,000. They steal like 400 or something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that was his way of sort of testing people.
And so 10 seconds here, how many times would the person not steal anything?
Actually, we worked with very good people.
You did?
There was one where, where it came up short.
Okay.
Yeah.
More with professional gambler Richard Munchkin up next. How many times has he been ripped off over the years? And what's it like changing money on the black market as we continue on Follow the Money? It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool day. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Starting July 14th, gear up for the football season with VSiN Training Camp Today. Live every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hosted by Kelly Bidlin, Nick Whalen, and Jeff Erickson. With special guests throughout the week, VSiN Training Camp Today delivers sharp insights on season-long props, futures markets, fantasy draft prep, playoff picks, and more. VSiN Training Camp Today all week. Starting July 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Powered by the experts at VSiN. The Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Good to have you on board here on a Thursday. We're live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino, and we continue here with professional gambler Richard Munchkin. You can follow him on X. He is at RWM21. The podcast with Bob Dancer is called Gambling with an Edge. I love that story they were telling at the end of the last segment to see how much you could trust a new person in your network by leaving that much money on the bed, and your partner would say, I'm going to go shower, Munchin's going to show up, and then give him all that money, and only one person ever deceived you guys. But how many times over?
In that particular move.
With that move, right, with that move.
Yeah.
But again, you'll be doing this for, 40-plus years?
Yeah. I started in, really 1980 was when I kind of turned pro.
And how many times in that window have you been ripped off overall?
Oh, I couldn't count. But, let me tell you one story. So at one point we were recruiting Japanese big players because we had used them in Korea with great success. And, it's just a fact that in a casino here, they will let an Asian person win a lot more money than a Caucasian person. Because of racism.
That's back then, or that's still true today?
True today. Absolutely true today. They just think that Asian people are crazy gamblers and they won't get suspicious of somebody, especially if they're on a foreign passport. Anyway, so we were using Japanese big players. We go up to Lake Tahoe, and we're in the room at Caesars, and we're going to play next door at Harrah's. And so we give the guy $20,000. We tell him, okay, I'm going to be at the table next door. Come over in about 15 minutes and look for me. I'll be on a blackjack table there at Harrah's. I'm waiting. We're waiting. Guy doesn't show up. Now we're worried. We go back. He's not in the room. He didn't get mugged on the sidewalk, right? I mean, there's nothing going on outside. We can't find the guy. Turns out the guy took the $20,000, went directly to the airport, and flew back to California. And then when we finally confronted the guy about it, he told me his story was that he got mugged in that 50 feet between Caesars and Harrah's, and he was so ashamed that he couldn't face us, so he went and caught a plane home. So, I mean, what do? We're not mobsters, right? I mean, so all you can do really is write it off.
Okay.
Not going to break his legs.
No.
As you said during the break, though, not maybe just that individual, but the prior people, they would have made so much money, but they were just short-sighted with what they did with that one particular instance and getting greedy.
Absolutely. Every one of the people who was, stolen in these kind of situations would have made so much more. I mean, incredibly much more than what they actually stole. But some people just can't help themselves. It's like a sickness or something.
It's that, and also, did they not potentially know, the exact position that they were in? They had to, right? They knew that they teamed up with some of the best. They're like, well, we're going to print money here.
Yeah.
They can't screw this up, right? I mean...
Yeah, I can't explain it. Okay. It doesn't make sense to me, right? It's just... A lot of people would rather have the bird in the hand than what they might earn in the future, so...
You're a small person. Have you ever been backroomed?
Once, but it wasn't what you would normally think of as a backrooming. In Korea, after I'd been playing there for 3 years, when I was playing in Korea, I was always betting the table minimum, like $5. And so they tried to start barring our Japanese players. And that didn't go very well because they threatened to go to the television and the newspapers in Tokyo and they would never get more Japanese play.
Ooh.
And then they figured out that it was the Caucasian guy who was always sitting at the table with them betting the minimum. And so they come to me and they asked me to come with them to the back room. And this is the most polite barring I've ever had. We sit down and they offer me tea and we're drinking tea and just chit-chatting. And then after about 5 minutes, the guy goes, I'm very sorry, but you cannot play blackjack anymore. And I said, why? You know, I'm only betting $5. I'm very sorry, you cannot play blackjack anymore. And that was basically when it was over. They just started barring all the white guys, and that was the end of our Korean play. So that was my only backrooming.
Okay. Well,
and part of that I attribute to the fact that I worked as a dealer and a boss, you know, and so I really felt like I saw the heat coming before it ever got to that level. So I was out the door before.
What was it? What's the signal? What's the signal with Daryl? Here comes the heat. Get out. Get up and grab your chips. Get the hell out of here.
So I mean, there are several. Like the really old one was this, like hot under the collar, and then you know there's even more, even more.
Oh,
heat.
that's worse.
White
Okay.
forehead. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, and so here's a story for you. I'm the very first time I played a hole card with Daryl. This was in the early 80s, and we were in the California Club, and Daryl was able to see from first base, he was able to see the dealer's hole card. And so I'm playing, and I'm winning, and I hear one boss, say to the other boss, well, the count is positive, and he hit 16 against a 10, so he's not counting cards. And I think, okay, that's great, right? And so we're playing along, and all of a sudden I hear the guy say, that's it, the guy on first base is seeing the whole card. And now I start giving Daryl, you know, heat, you know, get out. And then, I think this was, at that time, this was our signal for major heat, you know. Now, Daryl and I had not played with each other before in this way, and so he wasn't sure, you know, so he's giving me, like, questions, like, what's going on? And so the signal to get the hell out as quickly as possible was to page. They used to page people in the casino. And so I say, I'm going to the bathroom, and I get up and I go to the bathroom, but I go to the house phone and I have them page Herschel Walker. And that meant run like hell. So I go in the bathroom, and I come back, Daryl's gone, and now I see the boss is talking to a Griffin agent. So I just sit down and start playing, right? Because I figure if I just pick up my chips and run, like, you know, that's an admission of guilt. So I play, and I play a little while, and then I get up and I move to another table, and I play a little longer. And they're still talking now. They're confused by all this. So finally I cash out, and I go out one door. I go over through the Mint. I come back, and I had valeted here at what used to be the Las Vegas Club here at Circa. And I go out of the Mint, and I come back down Fremont Street, and I go through the Las Vegas Club, and I go out to valet, and I'm waiting for my car, and all of a sudden come running out the door the Griffin agent and the boss from the California Club. And they see me standing there waiting for my car, and now they don't know what to do. So they stand off to the side, and then, you know, when my car comes, the Griffin agent very obviously, you know, takes out a notebook and writes down my license plate number. And, that was my first experience with major heat here in Las Vegas.
Yes. Only once you've been afraid for your life, though?
The only time I've been really afraid for my life was in Russia. Yeah, Russia was a really a dangerous place, and yeah, I was really afraid, and vowed never to go back there and never to go to a place that I did not think was safe.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, that was early 2000s.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah.
And did you
because sometime after that, Putin outlawed all the casinos in Russia. So I don't remember what year I don't know if they're still gone, but
correct me if I'm wrong. The best casino, most beautiful you ever been to is St. Petersburg?
Yep. Yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, it looked like it was the inside of a palace or something. It was it was really amazing.
Want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings. See the percentage of bets versus percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's exclusive betting splits as little as $9.99 for your first month. VSiN.com/subscribe. Join the team now, $9.99. Get the splits, VSiN.com/subscribe.
All right, make sure that you follow Richard on X. He's at RWM21. The podcast with Bob Dancer is called Gambling with an Edge. He's going to stick around in studio here. It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. He will tell the story of a guy cheating at roulette who eventually had steam or smoke coming out of his shirt. Time to get the hell out of Dodge at that point. That's next here on VSiN.
Introducing the $500 trifecta. Use your GBank Visa signature credit card within 3 months of account opening and deposit